2012 was a good year for toys. Monster High dolls are at their peak popularity, LEGO is hitting its stride after a dark period thanks to high sales in Ninjago sets, Skylanders is making history combining figurines and video games, and the Furby makes its grand return to store shelves. But the true kings could be crowned only by the Toy Association come their annual awarding of Toy of the Year. Every year, the association would award these titles in 12 categories. Various toys were named to these categories, but the toy we'll be talking about today earned the title for Girl Toy of the Year.
Let's fidget, fidget. Let's boogie! Introducing Fidget Friends, a girl's interactive best friend.
This toy was the Fidget Friend, a Furby-like interactive friend marketed to girls, sold by Girltech, Radica Games, and Mattel. The toy would eventually be hailed by the Toy Association, but the Fidget Friend would need to grow from its humble beginnings, just like a lot of other toys both before and after it. The Fidget Friend was first publicly shown off at the New York Toy Fair in July of 2011.
So you're asking yourself, what in the world is a Fidget Friend? Well, the story's really long, girls are going to get really involved with the story, but I'm going to shorten it down. There were two sisters and their parents were scientists. Their parents left out this experimental goo. Well, the girls cranked up their music one day and the music woke up this goo and out sprang our Fidget Friends.
The toys physically resembled bug-like creatures with domed bodies and stubby arms, rounded heads, long antennae, and soft, friendly features. They were built with soft silicone bodies, hard plastic heads and antennae, and light-up LED faces. The toys came in 4 different colors: blue, green, pink, and purple. They were also considered to have 4 different personalities. Logan, the blue one, had a sporty personality. Seraphina, the pink one, had a sweet personality, which I guess just means like cutesy and fun. Willa, the purple one, had a trend-setting personality, which I guess means sort of like a popular girl trope or something. And Sage, the green one, had an adventurous personality. She was curious to the world as it was presented to her. The general interaction with the toy depended on how you would talk to it, using various phrases. Asking it to tell you a joke would prompt it to do so. Asking it to chat with you would get your Fidget Friend to ask you one of 3 questions. What's the mood, how's the weather, or weekends or school? Asking it to dance with you would cause the creature to dance, taking advantage of its rubber body to kind of bend and twist to either its own music or a music you'd play for it. The commercial says that Fidget Friends have 150 different phrases, which I would imagine that means the generic responses plus whatever number of responses each one is programmed with based on their individual personalities. It also says it's programmed with 32 keywords broken down from the main phrases. After a little more poking around, I found out that yes, the keywords are meant to be used in answering the questions your friend asks. For example, the weekends or school phrase could be answered more specifically like, oh, I'm doing this today, or later I'm going to this place. The toy indicates when it is in conversation mode with a little light on its stomach. The toys also have this weird function that I can't say I've seen a toy have before. By pressing a button located on the back of your friend's head, the toy would go into something called sonic chirp mode. Then, by accessing the Fidget Friend website, you could play these chirp sounds aloud to your friend, and it would do a dance or something depending on what that chirp was programmed to command the toy to do. The website and the chirps are both long gone. The basic chirp has been uploaded to YouTube, and others are accessible in various videos that little kids have uploaded, although there's no way to determine which is which unless they play them for their Fidget Friend, or you play the video loud enough for yours to hear in the slim chance you have one. While they aren't readily available, I was lucky enough to find someone with all of the chirps. He gladly gave me access to them. The link will be in the description below. As for their accessibility both then and now, it was far more available then than now, in terms of price and stock. They retailed at around $50 once they hit the shelves, which would be about $64 now. But of course back then they had enough toys to sell to everyone who wanted one. Nowadays, even if you're lucky to find one, it's likely to be pricey, used, and Willa since she was the most popular. Lower quality looking ones might dip under the original retail price, but the rubber on used toys is often dirty or desaturated, and there's always a chance they don't work or are beginning to stop working. If you wanted a brand new one in the box, you'd easily spend over $100, and even then the original owner would have had to remove the Trimey batteries to prevent corrosion. And in the event they didn't, you might have to deal with that on top of the cost. You might also get lucky, some people sell stuff to get rid of it, so there's always that chance. Now at this point, I've seen a few videos of the actual demo for the toys at the New York Toy Fair in 2011. This demo was interesting to me for a few reasons. The first one being that the presenter mentioned that Mattel was developing an app to be used in interacting with your friend.
Mattel's going to be creating apps and webisodes, and I'll actually turn this towards you so you can see it. So this is an example of a fidget app. There will be an inaudible sonic chirp embedded into the app so that when I play it in front of my fidget, she can react.
This is one awesome app!
While what was shown was a prototype, it made sense for the toy to have such an app to be finished between the Toy Fair in February of 2011 and the release in July of that year. As the iPad had recently released and entertainment was already changing wildly with the introduction of game apps. It would have been revolutionary had it ever come out, especially considering that Hasbro, one of Mattel's biggest competitors, would release a new Furby model with a similar app by the next year. The only other reference I could find to the app was an article written before it was to release, of course with no definitive date. Then I thought to use the Wayback Machine to try and look for the app on the App Store anywhere between 2011 to 2013 with no luck. I can't say for sure that the app was never made, as it would make sense for one to be made by 2012 given the competition and the toy's popularity, but I also wouldn't say the app was made and poorly archived either because the website itself has no mention of it. Another interesting thing that was mentioned by the presenter is that there were supposed to be episodes of a web series based around the toy to be released on the app. Like the app, it is unclear if any were ever made, and the website doesn't make any mention of them either coming or having been made available to the public. While looking through the website, I did happen to find some of the Sonic chirps embedded in the interface. The icons to play them were displaying if any were ever there, but by hovering over the blank space within the chirps page, I was able to determine the names of 8 chirps. Those being My Name Is, Ouchie Mama, Pork Chop Joke, Smooch, New Exclusive, Hip Hop, Pop, and New Rap. The latter 4 aren't properly archived, leaving them unable to be played. I would assume they do what they're supposed to. Again, there's no way of knowing without me actually having one to use them on. Moving on, the Fidget Friend line of toys expanded to include Friends for Your Friend. A few months after the release of the Fidget Friends, Mattel released Fidget Friends Newbies.
Now here's Fidget Newbies, little singing Fidget Friends. You can put them together for a duet. Newbies even interact with Fidget Friends. Hey, what's up? So small, you can collect them all. Fidget Friends and Fidget Newbies, each sold separately from Girl Tech.
Like the marketing strategies of many other interactive toys, this next move was to release more affordable, reduced functionality buddies for the main product. Newbies were like little pets for your Fidget Friend, standing at about a third of the size. Basically all these toys would do is sing. By pressing a button on their stomachs, they would sing a little song. According to the Mattel product information page for the toys, they're supposed to learn to sing better the more you interact with them. But I actually have one of these and I don't really remember that being a thing, but I don't know if I was old enough to notice any changes at all. They can sing along with your Fidget Friend, that's pretty much it. They retailed at $15, which would be about $20 adjusted for inflation. The next toy in the line didn't come until 2012. Newbies are cool, but we want real pets. Loud, barking robots.
Let's fidget with Yippets Yippets. The Fidget fam just keeps growing. Introducing new Yippets.
Aw, they want to play.
Adorable pets you can actually train.
Sit, Yippet. Attaboy.
Teach them tons of tricks like spin, beg. When you play with them, they get better and better.
Somebody's been practicing. Love my Yippet.
Now your best friends can all play together. More Fidget Friends, more Fidget fun. Fidget Friends, Newbies, and new Yippets.
This is the Fidget Friend Yippet. These toys sold at $25, $31 adjusted for inflation. It's half the size of an original Fidget Friend and looks kinda like if you chopped one's head off and put it on legs and slapped a dog face on there. It kinda moves around and dances to music and barks. It has a clap sensor that I guess lets it do different tricks and play different games. While the Newbies weren't worth mentioning individually due to their lack of any real interactive personality, these toys are. The purple one is named Pattern, the blue one is named Scooch, and the green one is named Skippa. Their names are supposed to kind of describe what their personalities are like. Some are more playful and others are silly. Apparently they also have Sonic chirps as part of their sound bank to be used or at least to interact with. By the time the next year rolled around, the line was reaching the end of its span despite the success the original toy saw. The very last product released for $22.
Shimmy shimmies, I love 'em. Shimmy shimmies, I love 'em. New fidget shimmies born to groove. You teach shimmies how to move. Your music or theirs, up to you. Put 'em together, you got a dance crew. Shimmy shimmies, I love 'em. New fidget shimmies, each sold separately.
Named Shimmies, this set of toys is unique because they look distinctly different from one another while still performing the same basic function, which was dancing to either your music or its own, learning more moves as it does so more frequently. The first version was a purple creature called Whirlina. It sat down in the palm of your hand or on a flat surface and wiggled around and spun and moved its ears. The second type was a larger sized pink variant named Spinrose. It sat on all fours and kind of shuffled around and spun the top half of its body to dance. The last type was a blue one called Polka. It sort of looks like a Yippet without the LED face. The entire head would rotate and both portions of its body would twist around so it could kind of break dance in a way. McDonald's toys promoting the shimmies came in 3 additional colors and styles, so it's unclear whether this was just done for the promotion or there was plans for more shimmies in the future that just didn't work out because the brand was at the end of its life. As for seasonal releases and special materials, there were only a few. In 2012, the Newbies got some Halloween and Christmas designs, 2 of each. The Halloween variants included a purple bat and a black cat. The Christmas variants included a red reindeer and a green mistletoe version. The end of the line was obviously close, so what happened? In such a short span of time, the entire line of toys bombed after having such a successful debut on the shelf. There's a few probable culprits to this, one of them being something I've mentioned a few times already, the Furby. In 2012, at the height of the Fidget Friends' popularity, Hasbro released a new Furby model with an interactive app to go along with it. This did deter some sales on Mattel's end, but overall, the second bigger competitor to both toys was the shifting attention on mobile technology. Technological advancements inspiring toy design like the Furby app and unreleased Fidget Friend app would be a double-edged sword, as more and more kids were spending more of their time looking at screens. It's a really bittersweet thing to think about, especially being someone who grew up during this change. It's really sad to me that these toys have fallen into obscurity, but making this video helped me enjoy an experience I didn't get to have a whole decade ago. Once again, thank you for watching. My voice cracked. I'm gonna leave that in. Once again, thank you for watching. I had a lot of fun making this video and even more fun looking back at Fidget Friends. They've been out for a whole decade. It's hard to think it's been that long, but the fact alone of not seeing anybody talk about them is what made me want to do this. Hopefully this video will prompt people into looking into them more. Both wikis were very bare bones, so I have no idea what other people might know. So if you know anything at all, like more than what was in the video, please do leave a comment. I would love to know more about this. But yeah, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.